Alright people, happy day 26. Let's go, Jared. October 10th and 11th is when Jared's going to be in Lima, Peru doing his competition, people. Now, I thought it was this last weekend, man. Hell no, it's October 10th and 11th, so we're going to be paying attention to that. We're going to make sure to cheer him on and look and see how he does and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully, maybe we can get some footage or something of his competition down there in Peru. I tell you, I'd sure love to go down to Peru and get me some of that food, right? That'd be awesome to try that out. Now, how's everybody doing today? It's day 27, I think. Day 27. Can you believe that? Wow, that's crazy. We only have 3 more days of this left, people. Where are you at in your heads? What's your head count? How many heads have you guys done yet? I forget how many I've done. I've done over 200, closing in on the 300 mark. Now we're going to get ready to go ahead and get into our other stuff, you know, this next challenge. So, but before we do that, how you doing? Let's check in. You got that fire stoked? Are you excited? You got anything coming up that you're excited about? You got anything on this Sunday fun day or this weekend? Or you getting anything in the mail? You looking for? What are you looking forward to? Put it down in the comments if you're looking forward to something, okay? What are you looking forward to, right? You got anything going on coming up that you're stoked about? Hell, it's okay if you're into football. I used to look forward to them Sundays, every Sunday, doing football, do a barbecue, have the guys over, have a good time. You know, that was a lot of fun when I was in that era, you know, when I was still believing that football wasn't rigged, because football is rigged, people. It's all scripted, you know. You get that black pill and you just get all the humbug, but you got to switch it to something else you're excited about, okay? Now, do you got that critical eye locked in the hole? You're using that impulse control. Is that what you're using? You better be using it. Keep that critical eye in the hole, and you know, so it doesn't come in there and knock down all your bowling pins and make you fret and upset and have a hard time during the day. You got to really keep it in there. You know what I'm saying? Really keep it in there. How's your schedule doing? You putting your time where you want it? You dropping your nickels, quarters, and dimes of your time in the jug that you want it to be in? Are you doing that? Make sure you do that, because you want to end up going the right direction, okay? Now, like I said, we're coming up on our end of this 30-day challenge. However many had you done, I'm really excited about that, okay? But our next challenge is going to be, it's going to have to do with some writing, all right? And we got a writing room on the Discord. Now, if you ain't part of our Discord, or you ain't never done Discord before, don't worry about it. It's real easy. Just go ahead and join the link. It's in the description. You can join our Discord. Come in the writing room, and then you can participate however much you want to participate, okay? You can write your stories, get feedback, get critiques, or just put it out there for fun, okay? And we're going to have a little bit of a writing competition this next month, so that'll be a lot of fun too. So, you know, along the lines, we're going to do what we do every month. We're going to talk about, you know, the elemental parts about how to be a good writer, how to execute as a good writer, how to get your thought process in a straight line, and then how to connect with something bigger than yourself so that you can channel something interesting, okay? And make a multi-dimensional, multifaceted story, okay? That's what we're going to be all about this next month, okay? It's going to be exciting. Of course, there's going to be artwork involved, and you can do the artwork or you cannot do the artwork. That's okay. It's whatever you want to do. You go at your own pace right here, people. I just set the course, and then you go at your own pace. And, you know, if you only want to do, some people only did 1 or 2 heads or whatever, or other things pop up in their life, but that happens, you know. And then that's how we have to regroup and come back and get our schedule going in the right direction. Or maybe some people thought they always wanted to draw. Then they actually did it, and they didn't like it. That's okay too. Maybe you're more of a donut connoisseur, and that's where you really want to spend your time, eating donuts. You know what I mean? Maybe even making donuts. But hey, that's okay. We accept all donuts around here. And if you are making donuts, why don't you send me a box? Okay, how about that? And then so we're checking in on that. So if you want to join our writing group, and we're going to have some of that going on this next month for our next challenge, go ahead and do that. Okay, go ahead and get in there on that. All right. Now, I think that's all we got as far as announcements. We got some really good comments from our last video. Let's see what we got here. We got James. He said, remember, we drew James. He was the only man in our all-girl team, and he said he looks good on paper, bruv. Damn good. And that's right. You do look good. Forest Mommy said, hell yeah, sorry I missed the last one live. That's okay, Forest Mommy. We appreciate it whenever you come through here. There ain't no shame in this game. You just, you know, fit in where you can get in, show up when you can, and don't feel bad when you can't. People got lives. We all doing something. What we're really focusing on here is the genuine desire. We want you to be where you really want to be, okay? We want to channel and harness that genuine desire. Maybe you're one of them airplane people and you like to fly remote control airplanes. Well, go join that group and fly some remote control airplanes, man. Okay? D-Wag said bow right back at you, D-Wag. And Professor Grass said, would it be James's Angels? And I say, yeah, of course it's James's Angels. He's the only English person I know with that thick accent. You know what I'm saying? So it's got to be him. Okay? Now, I was watching some stuff the other day. Well, yesterday. I don't know how many of you guys caught that Valuetainment interview between Patrick Bet-David and Nick Fuentes. And bro, I mean, they were rolling this out like it was going to be some powder cake. I don't know if you guys follow any of this stuff. I follow it just to be entertained. You know what I mean? I just want to get a good chuckle, and I want to watch how these characters behave, and then try to understand how people behave when they're in the spotlight, and their patterns of behavior. You know, and I like to go ahead and make notes of that, and then take it and put it in my writing or my cartoons or whatever, because I love doing them cartoons. I have a real good time doing that. And I want to be very satirical with what I'm seeing in the cartoons that I make, and I really want them to bite. You know, nothing worse than a fucking bland cartoon, you know, that's supposed to deliver the boom and it's just bland. You know what I mean? Throw that thing back, you know. That's a fish that's too small. He ain't done growing yet. Put the pie back in the oven. It ain't done cooking yet. You know what I'm saying, people? It just ain't done cooking. And so anyway, everybody's talking, oh, this big interview, you know. So I go over there and I watch this Patrick Bet-David interview. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this motherfucker anyway, you know, with his background and whatnot, of how he got his money, and then all of a sudden he decides he wants to be some sort of media conglomerate, you know, fuck that, right? And then all the fucking yes men he has on his channel, you know, the fucking boring echo chamber over there. So I got some really strong opinions, if you can't tell, right? Some really strong opinions. So then, you know, also I'm watching this Nick Fuentes guy and watching what he says and listening to what he says and how he like stirs everybody up, right? Stirs everybody up. Talks about all these things you ain't supposed to talk about. So of course, you know, I want to hear, well, what is it that you're not supposed to talk about? Well, that's what I want to listen to, right? So I'm like, okay, I want to hear it. So, you know, I listen to him occasionally and hear what he's got to say, and I listen to what he's got to say, and some of the stuff he says is very well spoken. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, you know. So I'm like, oh, this is fixing to be a feisty interview, you know, an hour and a half. Patrick Bet-David. I'm thinking Nick's going to go on there, and, you know, I saw his interview with Canson, and I was just like, what the hell is that interview all about? Did you guys see that interview? I'm Candace Owens, and she just winds me up anyway. I can't stand her. But he was overly polite. You know, he got kicked in the nuts a couple of times, and he took it. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe he learned his lesson, and he's going to fight back now, right, in an interview. Okay, so now he knows now. You don't pull your punches. You go in there and you fucking, you know, go to it, you know. And there's no such thing as seniority when it comes to entertainment. If you guys haven't noticed that right now, there's no such thing as seniority. Whoever can grab and control the public eye in that moment or that scene or whatever, and can steal that scene, is the person who has the power. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever watched any Cat Williams movies, but they always give him these little tiny roles. But he comes in and he steals that scene. He steals that movie even, right? So you're talking about Friday and whatnot. What character do you remember from Friday? That's right, Cat Williams' character. What character do you remember from Boondocks? A pimp named Slickback. Of course, that's Cat Williams. Every one of his characters is you remember it. It stays with you, right? So there's no such thing as seniority. There are no rules in entertainment other than you have to grab the camera's eye and you have to hold it. However you want to do that, that's what you got to do. That's the only rule in entertainment, right? So Nick Fuentes, I'm thinking, he's going to go on the Patrick Bet-David, and I know how Patrick Bet-David likes to do his interviews. He likes to take control and act like he's like going to do these like surprise. I like to discuss topics that nobody else discusses, bro. So weak sauce. This guy's weak sauce, right? I did the research, bro. You don't do no research, okay? But so he goes in there and he like basically uncles over Nick Fuentes the whole time, and Nick Fuentes rolls over and goes along with it, and then gets all brought into the group and all that kind of stuff. And so I'm like, oh, here we go. This is what's going on, right? So I'm like, oh man, fuck that shit. Anyway, to cut a long story short, that's what's gonna be leading into what we're gonna draw today. We're gonna talk about this thing that I was gonna draw. And of course I'm sitting there and I'm watching this stuff, right, all last night. And I got Patrick Bet-David, and so I'm thinking these guys are just Muppets, right? So I'm thinking let's just draw these guys as Muppets. So that's what we're gonna do today. And what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead, it could be Sesame Street or the Muppets, but think about some people that you watch or that have impacted you recently and draw them as Muppets, excuse me, as Muppets or as puppets or as, Sesame Street or whatever, okay? So I took these three characters, and the first character that I got is the Patrick Bet-David guy, right? So we got our head shape back here. We got our nice box, if you can see it right here. I'm doing outline right there. And then, this is why it's so great to do the cartoon characters, because you can just have fun and destroy the proportions or make them however you want to in order to make yourself laugh. And that's what satire is, okay? So we got Patrick Bet-David down here. We got him with his, this is the character that I thought he most looked like when, of the Muppets when I was looking at it. This one guy with the big beak, and he's just like, "Arr." So we got this guy with the beak, we got his eyes, okay? And then his eyebrows are like, crazy, right? And of course his eyes are black. That motherfucker, his eyes are just black. He just sees, numbers and money. That's all he's gonna control. And this is him, okay? This is Patrick Bet-David. And he's kind of fat, okay? Then he's got his shirt, right, going in there like that. And he's got his other shirt, going in his shirt collar right there. So there we go. We got Patrick Bet-David, and this is the first thing that I thought of when I saw him. He looks exactly like that one guy from the Muppets with the huge eyes and the huge eyebrows. Maybe they even come close to connecting. And he's got that big beak, right? He's just like, oh, and he's like, I'm your uncle. And he tried to basically little bro, or big bro, Nick Fuentes. And so I'm thinking, right, Nick Fuentes is going to punch back, right? This is going to be he's always talking about his intellect and this and that and whatever. So it's time for him to punch back. And so who's Nick Fuentes? Well, he's Kermit the Frog, okay? He's Kermit the Frog, right? He's got his hair. Got to keep that hair going, He's kind of getting thick too, but he's got to keep his hair, right? And he's got Kermit's eye right there, and he's got his mouth coming down like so. Right. Right. Okay, he's got his other eye over here on the other side. Right. And he's like here's the bottom of his mouth. Okay. And he's got his little neck coming down. He's got his tie. He's wearing a suit. He did look good in the suit, not gonna lie about that. But hey, most guys look great in a suit. So guys, if you want to impress the ladies, wear a suit. Of course, don't wear a suit to a date, but go somewhere where you can wear a suit. Okay. Of course, he's got those little arms that just flail around. Now, I was hoping to see some fireworks, so I was kind of disappointed. I thought Nick Fuentes was going to come out and just give it to him. You know what I mean? Especially after he had learned what he had learned on the Candace Owens thing. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this is because I love contemporary pop culture, right? And politics and what these podcasters are doing is part of contemporary pop culture, okay? And I love making cartoons, satirical cartoons about it. I don't really follow it too heavily. I kind of made up my own mind about a lot of things, and you might even know or follow along with what I talk about and agree with me. So he's Patrick Ben David's over here, little broing Nick, and Nick Fuentes is just like, yay, they like me. You know what I mean? Okay. So that's what we got going on over here. Now, who's the third person in our situation? Well, of course, it's Sneeko, right? It's Sneeko. Sneeko just happens to always pop up when nobody wants him to pop up. He's the one that he's got his little Muslim cap on over here. He's got his Fozzie Bear. That's who Sneeko is. Sneeko's Fozzie Bear. He just does whatever's popular. He just copies. He says he doesn't want to talk to Nick Fuentes, and have a get together like he used to, whatever, but he'll sure react to all of his clips, and I think that's a bunch of bullshit. He got his big nose right here, and he's got his eyes, right? Now remember, this is all about drawing, okay? And so we put his eyebrows in there. We got his mouth. This is about being creative and using satire. The thing is that cartoons are a form of symbology, and they're very, very powerful, and they can sway public consciousness very easily. And humor and mockery and satire is a weapon that these people fear. Okay, so think about that. Of course, he's got his little mustache, his little itty bitty mustache, and he's got his little goatee down here. Right? Now he's talking about Nick on the Patrick Bet David, podcast, and he's reacting to it, of course. But what's he really worried about? He's really worried about getting his damn YouTube channel back. And after he said he was so glad he wasn't on YouTube anymore. So he's over here holding his YouTube plaque like it's his idol. That's what he's got going on right there. And what's he saying? He's saying waka or waka. Because Fozzie Bear says waka waka. Waka waka akbar. That's pretty much what he says, right? And he's doing his little grift to go ahead and get in there and get his thing going. So that's what we got going on. We got the Patrick McDavid, the Nick Fuentes, the interview, and then the Sneeko reaction where he wants to get his YouTube channel back, and that's the main reason why he's even doing any of this, right? He's trying to chase the clout, chase the money, wants to be important, wants to. He's just like a hypergamist himself. Now, it's okay if you don't agree with me on any of this stuff. And you know what? I follow who you want to follow. I want you to be a free thinker. That's what this is all about. Every person's on their own journey. I'm going to have my own, predisposed satire, and I'm going to be, feel a certain way about certain things because of how my history, right? And what I've experienced, just like you are with what you have experienced. But you know what? It's okay. And I accept that. And I still want you around. Okay, I want you to come into the writer's room. We're going to probably do some kind of meetup in Southern California coming up in the first week of December, I'm thinking. And it's just going to be kind of like for the Southern California ROTC crew. We're going to try and put that together. We got Brandon, we got Dan Snott, we got Hillbilly Harry, we got Gnostic Guru, we got all kinds of people in the Southern California area that we're just going to go ahead and we're going to probably meet up at a bar, get a whole bunch of appetizers and have some tequila shots and have a good time and just run the Christmas time. You know what I'm saying? Just to feel more of a community, because we're all the way out here in Southern California. And some people might love Nick Fuentes, or some people might love Patrick Ben-David, or some people might even love Sneaker. And that's fine. Still love those people, okay? Until you genuinely change your mind, or you genuinely are passionate about those people. What we're really after here is being authentic and having that genuine desire. And I want to support that. Even if maybe I don't follow the same people or share the same passions that you do, I want to support your desire to be authentic. Just like I want you to support my desire to be authentic, okay? And everybody can still come to the Christmas party. That's how families used to be, and that's how families need to be now, okay? So I want you to get out there. I want you to kick some ass. We're going to still cheer on Jared down there in October 10th and 11th. Let's fucking go, people. Let's get out.